and I thought our vast empty spaces were impressive. Try Australia. It is the 6th largest country in the world. 2 full-size Indias can fit inside it. Or, to put it another way, 13 full-size Chinas can fit into Australia. Yet today, 95% of its land is uninhabitable. Just 3% of its population lives in its rural areas. Around 90% of its people live in just 5 cities: Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide. The rest of Australia is a ghost country. So how did this happen? If you look at this map, you will see scattered yellow dots. Those are the only places where people actually live. All other parts of Australia are uninhabited. Why is that? Let me tell you the story of Australia's emptiness. It's a story of tragedy, exploitation, and unforgiving terrain. Let's start with the people who were here first. The Aboriginal people and the Torres Strait Islanders. They lived in Australia for more than 65,000 years. That's more than half the world's population. But they lived simply. They never claimed land ownership. To them, land meant community, family, and respect. They saw themselves as caretakers of the land, not its owners. Their idea of land ownership would be like an Indian seeing the entire Himalayas as his property. Now imagine what would happen if someone tried to fence a part of the Himalaya. This went on for generations until 1788 when the British invaded. They landed in Botany Bay, present-day Sydney. This area had been home to the Eora Nation for thousands of years. But the British didn't know that. They also didn't know that the land already had an owner. They assumed that the land was empty. In Latin, they wrote terra nullius, meaning land belonging to no one. And this assumption gave them the right to claim the land, to steal it. This is what began Australia's colonial nightmare. The British were not interested in owning land. They wanted to use it, exploit it. They set up a penal colony in Australia. In the next few decades, 160,000 convicts were sent there. They were thieves, murderers, rapists. And this is what Australia's first governor, Arthur Phillip, said about the British convicts. They were a motley collection of mankind, not a few of them being strongly attached to virtue and religion. What happened to the original inhabitants? They were pushed away from their land, forced to work on farms and gold mines. Women and children were sexually exploited. Many were killed. In 1795, the natives revolted. They attacked the British settlement at Parramatta. But soon the British struck back. Over the next 100 years, entire tribes were wiped out. From an estimated 3 to 7.5 million Aboriginals, only 30,000 to 75,000 survived by the early 1900s. The British also introduced new laws to keep other communities out. In 1901, the White Australia policy was introduced. It restricted immigration and kept Asians, Africans, and Native Australians out. The policy advisor said that the British were trying to create a white empire. The policy advisor said that the British were trying to create a white homeland in Australia, preferably a Protestant one. Today, Australia's population is around 26 million. But Aboriginal people make up only 3.8% of that. Just about 1 million people. The rest of Australia remains empty to this day. So what happened here? Why is so much of Australia still empty? The biggest reason is geography. 70% of Australia is desert, hot, dry, sandy, and unlivable. The central lowlands have salty water. You cannot drink it. Only a small part in the east is fertile. It has fresh water and moderate weather. But this part accounts for only 5% of Australia's land. The rest is either too wet or too dry. Also, it's extremely uneven. Most of Australia is either mountainous or flat. There are no tall mountains in the south to trap clouds. Because of this, 3/4 of Australia receives less than 10 inches of rain every year. Some parts get less than 2 inches of rain a year. Imagine living in such a place. You'd have to survive droughts, floods, and cyclones every year. Not easy, which is why only a small part of Australia is habitable. The rest is simply too harsh to live in. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow!